I've had so many people ask me, how did you get housing, especially so quickly? So let me tell you what the process was for me. A little bit of backstory that is key factor to how I got housing is, so I am 19. Through my teenagehood, I lived in foster care and I lived in independent living. And then when I left DHS's guardianship, I got linked in with a voluntary program called Better Futures. I don't know a lot about who they work with, but I know that they work with kids 18 to 21, especially kids who have left child protection at 18 years old. Through this service, my worker specifically applied for a program called the Home Stretch program, which is, I think, roughly $14,000 to $15,000 a year to help me with my everyday living and to kind of fill in the gaps for things that parents would usually support you with. Because obviously, like, my mum is not financially able to help me, you know, with housing, with rent, with food, all that kind of stuff. And I have been living independently pretty much since I was 16. Anyway, so when I came back from Queensland and I moved back into Melbourne, they helped me out. I did live with my mum for a short period of time, but her rule underneath her roof is I have to be completely absent from all alcohol and all drugs. And I said to my mum, I was like, Mum, I don't want to do my DOC, which is ice and GHB anymore, but I still want to drink on the weekends and all that kind of stuff. And then she said, okay, I respect that, that's your journey, but you can't live underneath my roof, because my mum is on her own sobriety journey and my little brother also lives with her, which I completely respect. My mum is my best friend, I love her so much. And so when that happened, I moved out of her house. Because I moved out of her house and I didn't have anywhere else to go, I did live in a hotel, and that hotel was funded through my funding that I have access to every single year until I hit 21. Now, for people asking how much that hotel cost for 2 weeks, my worker told me it was $2,000, and that's a lot of freaking money in a hotel. But through that process, I then worked with my worker to apply for housing. Housing that I'm living in is not long-term, it is short-term housing, and over the next few months, I will be working on getting long-term housing with my worker, who is also my housing worker. When you live in the housing that I live in specifically, I need to work with my housing worker over the next few months to find something more long-term. What I have right now isn't long-term, and it wasn't just handed to me on a silver platter. I have been through hell and back, and I deserve where I'm living. I am getting a little bit defensive because I understand there are single mothers that have kids and don't have housing in my comment section, and I understand that, and I can sympathize, not empathize, but sympathize. It must be hard, but what I have is purely because of the service that I'm linked in with, and because I don't have parents to help me with all that kind of stuff. I don't know specifically services that can help single mothers who need housing urgently. If I did, I would let you know. My best advice would probably be to go to Launch